Welcome to Dark Horizon Creations. I'm Mike, and today I have a very special video review for all of you Halo fans. This is the Wicked Cool Toys M12 Warthog and Master Chief box set. This is a part of their World of Halo 3 3/4 inch scale toy line. And I have to say that I am extremely impressed with this particular toy, as well as everything that they've made thus far for Halo. So I want to take just a few minutes and revisit where we've been and how we got to where we are with these toys. So Halo toys came to their prominence under McFarlane. McFarlane, of course, being famous for Spawn and things like that. And, you know, their most successful Halo line that McFarlane released was the Halo Reach toy line. There were multiple iterations of the Spartan armor. There was a lot of attention to detail in those figures. They had great articulation, multiple accessories. There were even box sets. And of course, they did the vehicles with Halo Reach, Warthog, and then the Ghost. You know, they tried to expand out into smaller scale stuff with their micro ops, which didn't go anywhere. But overall, their most successful line of Halo figures was Reach. You know, and after that, the subsequent lines just seemed to lack in attention to detail and quality. And by the time they got to the few figures that they released for Halo 5, they were just extremely poor quality figures. You couldn't even get the figures to stand really on their own. They didn't have great articulation. The paint apps were lacking on those figures. And it was just a great disappointment. So they lost a master product license. It was awarded to Mattel. And Mattel tried something that was extremely innovative for Halo. They featured removable armor sections on the figures. The helmets, of course, weren't removable, but the armor sections were. And that was a really neat feature. I was one of the first people to review those figures online. I received a complete set of the first wave up front. And I was really impressed with the figures. I know at Toy Fair, everyone loathed them because of the paint apps that were on them at that time, the really bright colors. But the Series 1 figures, when they arrived, that entire first wave just looked phenomenal. They had really dulled down the paint applications. They had a very subdued color to them. And the paint apps weren't as great as the McFarlane figures. There was a lot that was lacking there. And it was an open door for customizers to repaint the figures. But some of the issues that were reported by different people who purchased the figures, I never saw on them. You know, the armor snapped into place. It remained in place. I didn't have any problems with the figures' posability. They had great articulation. They come with nice accessories. They had a nice window box. And even today on the secondary market, it's very difficult to buy those figures from third-party sellers without paying at least $50 per figure. The one that's really sought after, the Mattel Halo ODST figure, you can't find that figure for under $100. And it's very rare to find it mint in the box online. And so Mattel really took the Halo figures to the next level. And had they invested more money and more time into those figures, it would have paid off for them in the long run. But for whatever reason, they chose not to do that. And Mattel was already struggling. You know, they are the second largest toy manufacturer behind Hasbro. But they've had so much financial difficulty. And their sales have just really declined steadily over the last 10, 12 years, that I don't think that they saw Halo as a very lucrative franchise for them to invest any more money in. And of course, the master product license came up for grabs again, and this time Wicked Cool Toys, Jazwares got it. And what they have done is something that neither McFarlane or Mattel have been able to do. They got things right out of the gate. One of the most critical decisions that Wicked Cool Toys made is that they divided the Halo line into a 6-inch collector's line with the Spartan collection and a 3 3/4 inch scale line called World of Halo, as you see before you. And the most critical thing about doing this is that with the World of Halo scale figures and vehicles, that opens up the door for them to be able to invest more money into the things that fans want. The Warthogs, the Mongoose, the Pelican, the Banshee, if they decide to go that route. Because it's a lot more cost effective to produce vehicles and playsets for 3 3/4 scale figures than it is for 6-inch figures. And the decisions that they have made are going to pay off for them. I do not believe that they could have anticipated the supply and demand issues that they're currently facing, because these figures are sold out the moment that they hit store shelves. And that's a good sign. That's a good indicator. So, what we have is a box set featuring the M12 Warthog and Master Chief from Halo Infinite, the yet to be released title on Xbox One and the new Xbox One X Series console. And the artwork that's on here is phenomenal. It looks straight out of the game. And one of the things that really struck me to begin with is that the Warthog seems to be a cross between the in-game vehicle that we saw in Halo 3 and the one that we see in Halo 4. You don't see the roll bars going around the front and the rear of the vehicle as we did in Halo 4. The M41 lag looks identical to the one from Halo 4. But there's something about the aesthetics of the vehicle that's just a callback to what Bungie designed. And I think that's kind of been their intention with that, as well as the redesign of Master Chief's Mjolnir armor. It's more reminiscent of what we know from Bungie. And you can see on the artwork, they have the older UNSC logo on the side of the truck and then the newer logo on the blast shield on the gun. The actual toy has the old logo in both locations. I don't know if that's intentional on their part, if they didn't have access to the newer logo, or they just decided to use the old one for whatever reason. But that's there. The white striping on the side is more reminiscent of the Halo 4 vehicle. And of course, we don't see the spotlight on the top of the roll cage. On the top of the vehicle, top of the box, it just has some of the features of the vehicle. On the side of the packaging is the UNSC logo here. And on the back is this artwork of the Master Chief. That's very reminiscent of the, if you guys remember the package, that particular armor, the 10th anniversary action figure they released. That's really what Master Chief reminds me of in that shot. And I want to say something about the box art for just a second. This is a minimalistic design for packaging. There's none of the action scene shots and things that we're used to seeing on the back of packaging for toys. And to my knowledge, all of the figures, the World of Halo scale 3 3/4 inch figures, the box sets like this, as well as the Spartan collection, all have this artwork on the back. That was a very smart move on behalf of Jazwares, because what this does is this allows them to invest more money into the actual product. You still get great packaging, great artwork on the packaging, but I think that they see what most collectors see, is that the stuff that's normally on the back of the box just isn't necessary. So they've actually cut costs with their packaging, and that's money that they can invest in the actual toy and the product, and we'll see that just in a moment. On this side is just a UNSC logo. You guys can see that there. And that's it for the artwork. And of course, in the window box, you have the Master Chief. And even before I remove this figure from the packaging, that action figure just has his character and his personality. I mean, that's the Chief. And, just looking at that visor, the gloss paint that they used for that, it's just unreal. It looks like he stepped out of the game, and here he is. So to that end, let's open the box. I don't know what happened to my scissors and my X-Acto, so I'm forced to pick the tape rather than cut it. And I don't want to damage the box because this is what I keep the toys in. So we're going to remove the Master Chief first, and you can see him up close. Wow, we've got that cardboard there. He's got the MA-40 assault rifle, which is a subsequent version of the MA-37 that we saw in Reach. And you can see his armor really is reminiscent of Halo 3. I don't know why they redesigned it. I'm very partial to the armor in Halo 4. I really like that look on the Chief. I like the armor design for the Spartan 4s. That they came up with, and maybe there's something, you know, within the narrative of the story why he's wearing this old armor. I don't know, but you can see it's got battle damage up here, and then it's got the 117 there on the chest plate, and it's got decent paint applications. I think it would look better with a black wash to dull it down some. And the rifle looks okay. But again, a black wash wouldn't hurt it. There's just a basic instruction sheet that shows you how to pop the wheels on and the turret. That's another cost-saving feature that I really like in this packaging. The vehicle isn't strapped down. And before I begin putting the wheels on, I want you guys to see the level of detail on the Warthog. You can see all of the weathering that they've done, like it scraped the paint off of the truck. And the very first toy that I tried to customize was the Halo Reach Warthog, and that's all that I painted on it. I just used gunmetal and silver paint to try to paint weathering on it, like this, but not to this level. But the attention to detail there is just nice. You can see the hand grips, the UNSC logo. This is the port where the antenna plugs in. You can see where the turret plugs in here, in the bed of the truck. See the extended roll bar. I really like that. That's a nice feature, nice design. Maybe in the future they'll redo this and do a troop carrier version with the extended roll bar over the back instead of a gun turret. These are where the gas cans mount. There's 3 ports here for 3 cans, and then 1 mounts here, so there's 4 altogether. You can see the interior of the Warthog. All the controls, the dials, the readouts, all of those have been painted in. Done really nice. The steering wheel and the gear shift don't move, but they're really nice as well. Seats are painted black. A lot of detail there. A lot of nice detail on the bottom, particularly with the suspension of the vehicle. And this is sort of a crossover between the suspension that we see in Halo 3 with the Warthog, where it's got independent suspension on all 4 wheels, and what we see in Halo 4 and Halo 5. They're really, really nicely done. And you could, you know, repaint this if you chose to do so. I would have liked to see the roll bars around it, but I still like it the way that it is. It's just got its own personality, just really nice looking. I think they've done a great job on this toy. The only part that is really strapped in is the cannon. If I can get it to slide out. I'm going to take a look at it before I remove it. It's got weathering on the base plate as well as up the pintle mount there. Nice looking M41, and you can see the original UNSC logo there rather than the new one. I still don't know why they did that. I know when I first saw pictures from Halo Infinite of the Chief's armor, it just, to me, it was like a step back. Why would they go in that direction? Why redo the armor? But we don't know the narrative of the story either. Here's the wheel and the tire for the Warthog. This is plastic. This is semi-soft rubber. It's a rubber tire. That's really neat. This is the second one that I've purchased. I plan to purchase at least 2 more. One of the things that I'm hoping to see, since we have the M41 lag turret, and it will come out, it's removable once you plug it in. I'm hoping that they offer the Gauss cannon and the multiple launch rocket system as well, similar to what McFarlane did with their Warthog. So with the gas cans, you can see the detail there. Ports on the back. Those that have this port, push them straight in. Let me adjust the camera angle here, so you guys can see this better. So all the gas cans with individual ports just plug in there, and they're fairly secure. I don't think they're going to come out unless you just happen to be playing with this thing really, really rough. This gas can has 2 ports on it that plug into these 2 pegs there. So you got 4 gas cans total. The antenna, you just push straight down into there. It's not coming out. So don't try to remove that unless you want to break it. As far as the wheels, you just push them straight on like that. With the Gauss cannon, you have your ammo belt. The large section of it plugs into the side of the gun. The smaller section plugs in here. And then you're just going to take it and push it straight down. And you're going to have about 90 degrees of rotation from left to right with the gun. You can see the end of the barrel, and it's made out of that soft rubbery type plastic. It's slightly bent. The other one I've got wasn't. But there you go. That is the Warthog. Now for the Master Chief. We'll take a look at the MA40 first. You can see the level of detail there. Again, it's made out of that soft rubbery type plastic. And these World of Halo 3 3/4 inch scale action figures are closer to 4 inches really. And they only come with one accessory, one weapon. There's no ports on his thigh there for a sidearm or anything. The head joint on this one is much tighter than the first one that I opened. I plan to repaint the first one. It has forward and lateral movement at the shoulder. Arm rotation, double jointed elbow wrist rotation. His chest is on a ball joint. Forward and lateral movement at the leg rotation, double jointed knee. His ankle's on a ball joint. So a full range of motion. And as far as posability goes, with the weapons, you know, Hasbro could take a lesson from Wicked Cool Toys on articulation for their G.I. Joe figures, because you never saw a level of articulation like this in a G.I. Joe. And because it's soft rubber, the gun will pop out of his grip every so often. You just kind of have to... His thumb on the other figure was more pronounced than on this one. That might be a molding issue. But you can see there, it's still really nice. And of course, you can take it off and have him plug it into this port on the back of his armor like that. As far as Chief sitting in the Warthog, what I found that works best is slightly bending his knees, because the space inside the cab of the truck is sort of cramped. There's something like a spacer in there. I don't know. You kind of have to play around with it. But once you get him in, he can sit in the vehicle. He can drive it. And the UNSC troopers, UNSC Marine figures, they sit down in the vehicle more flush than the Chief does. The back part of his armor is going to rub up against the roll bar any way you put him in, really. And I haven't found anywhere on here for his weapon to store, to plug in. If there is, I haven't seen it. It certainly isn't in the instruction. But there you have the Wicked Cool Toys World of Halo M12 Warthog and Master Chief box set. This is a really phenomenal toy. If you don't have it in your collection, you need to go out and get it, because this is awesome. I have to say, hands down, they have done a phenomenal job with both the World of Halo 3 3/4 inch scale as well as the Spartan collection. These figures are really, really nice. They've put a lot of time and effort into the research and development of these toys. They didn't just slap something together when they got the master product license. And everything about it says that they have gotten this right. They care about this brand. They care about the fans. Otherwise, we wouldn't have a toy this nice in front of us. If you guys haven't followed or subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do so. I have a Facebook page, Dark Horizon Creations, where I detail all of my custom work, as well as news that I share from science fiction, fantasy, and video games, things like that. I also share articles that I write on my personal blog. I'm a creative writer by trade, so I love to write articles and share information. And I also have an Instagram page, Dark Horizon Creations, and you can follow me on Twitter, Dark Horizon CRNS. Stay tuned. There's more to come.